This is Lucy Todd from Lucy Todd Coaching, and just here to talk about my incredible experience working with Shanedra on the Her Voice Shines podcast. The podcast episode that I was on with Shanedra was actually the first time that we talked in person. We pretty much jumped on the call, said hello, here's how it's going to go, and dove right into it. And just from the very beginning, she was so welcoming. I felt so comfortable being on the podcast and just having a conversation with her. The flow of the podcast was great. Shanedra was just really supportive, conversational, and she did a great job of building off of my story. So whatever I had to say, she had a relevant observation or response or similar question to build off of. So the flow just always felt really great, and again, supportive of sharing my story and speaking with her audience. There was incredible communication both before and after the podcast. I always knew what to expect, what was coming next, when my episode was scheduled to release. I got a few weeks actually notice of the publication date in advance, and even got a social media asset to help spread the word about it with my audience. So overall, it was an incredible experience. I loved being on the Her Voice Shines podcast. And I even met my next podcast host through the podcast, listening to another one of the episodes and just reaching out on social to introduce myself to that guest. So it was a networking opportunity, as well as an incredible podcast opportunity. So I would absolutely recommend jumping on the Her Voice Shines podcast. You will have an amazing time, have a fun time with Shanedra.